Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Good morning. Hello. Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio. It's a little bit cold here in northern Colorado, and we got some of this little snow yesterday. It's fine. I'm fine. It's fine. But as I was doing my chores, I was thinking about, it was clear to me that here on the farm, the Highland cattle, right? I got Highlanders here. They were happy. They love the snow, of course, coming from Scotland. I mean, the ones I have didn't come directly from Scotland, but you know what I mean. The heritage is from Scottish Highlanders, right? They love it. They just stand there. It's like, are you going to go to your barn, or are you just going to hang out here in the snow? No, they're going to just hang out there. They love it. So they were super happy. So in order of happiest to see the snow, I would say the Highlanders are the happiest. Honey Boo Boo, my little dwarf goat, she's happy all the time. She doesn't really, nothing bothers her. She's just indestructible. So she is pretty fine. Kyle is my llama. He prefers to stay in the barn. He just prefers to stay inside when it's cold or windy. He likes to stay inside. So he was inside. He was fine, but, a little perturbed, I guess you could say. Now, my chickens, they really do not like the snow. They were all inside the coop. They don't want to come out. It's too cold. Forget about it. We're not doing it. And my turkey, who is probably the most annoying on the farm because she's just annoying, okay? Anyway, she was pretty miserable. She's jumping up on me and going crazy and stuff. And then the cat's probably not very happy either. They're just whiny and we want to come out, but we don't want to come out because we don't want our paws to get wet. And, so it's just like everybody's a little moody around here. And then I guess last is me. I'm probably the least happiest because I have to be outside feeding everybody and taking care of everybody. But thankfully, my water heaters are working. So I don't have to worry about any, frozen, because that's the worst part about chores in the snow is the water, right? Because the water freezes over. And let me tell you, these things, these water heaters, yeah, they work, but they just the littlest problem. And they go out and, then you've got a whole giant trough full of frozen water. And then good luck trying to get water out there. It's just a nightmare. So actually I have no complaints, right? Because all my water heaters are working and everybody's a little moody, but still I didn't have to haul water today. So yay. Or yesterday, I did not have to haul water. So that's the good news. Anyway, a lot of stuff going on. Yesterday, you may have noticed yesterday that I was just a little bit annoyed, right? I'm and after the show yesterday, I thought, well, maybe I'm the only one. Maybe I was getting a little too upset about the fact that there's not been any arrests and all that. So I thought, what are other people saying? So I checked in with the PBD podcast, right? The Patrick Bet David podcast. I want to see what those guys are saying. There's one guy on there that I just cannot stand. I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about. But anyway, I cannot stand that guy. Anyway, I just wanted to see what they were talking about. So I did listen in. And guess what? They're talking about the same thing. Annoyed. When are we going to make some arrests here? Clearly there are some people in politics that have, done some very illegal things. And yet, again, nobody's arrested. So it wasn't just me. And then, I started going down the scroll hole a little bit and looking at what people are talking about, what the topic is being shaped around. And man, if we aren't right back at censorship, did it ever stop? Really? It's hard to know, I mean, I have a little bit more freedom with what I'm saying these days compared to COVID days, right? Because health was so extremely scrutinized. And yeah. Anyway, we're experiencing censorship yet again, I think to a higher level. Now listen, I want to play this clip for you. It is of Jonathan Greenblatt from the ADL. So take a listen to this.
So number one, we measure and track. Number two, we monitor and disrupt. We have a whole apparatus. I have 40 analysts working full time, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, monitoring extremists. We monitor them online, social media, messaging apps, video games, cryptocurrency, podcasts, short form video, Wikipedia, LLMs. We monitor these people and we share the intelligence with the FBI. You saw last month, you heard about the thing that happened at Wilshire Boulevard Temple. Our analysts investigated what happened. They said they were Koreatown for Palestine, this group of people. They weren't. We were able to ascertain they were from a group called the Turtle Island Liberation Front. Turtle Island is how left-wing activists refer to the United States. They don't call it America, they call it Turtle Island. Like the Iranians call it the Zionist entity, right? They won't call it by its name. The Turtle Island Liberation Front, we gave them a whole dossier. What is Turtle Island Liberation Front? What are their ideas, their goals? Who are they? We identified the people who were in the synagogue. This was on Wednesday, December the 10th. On Monday, December the 15th, this is going to ring a bell. Kash Patel announced they cracked a terror ring. where they arrested 4 people who were playing New Year's Eve bombings? Turtle Island Liberation Front. At least one of the people I know for certain was in the building at Wilshire Boulevard Temple, vandalizing it and disrupting the event. So we're monitoring left-wing radicals like the DSA and the anti-war crazies and the pro-Palestine crazies. We're monitoring right-wing extremists like white supremacists, armed militia groups. We're monitoring political Islamists and Christian nationalists, all of them. And then we train. We're the largest trainer of law enforcement in America, extremism.
Well, this is kind of disturbing on many levels. One thing that comes to mind here is he's monitoring all those groups. How do we get in these groups? How do we get labeled? Who decides if you're a white nationalist? Who gets to decide that? Are they doing the labeling? Is the ADL doing the label? Who is Jonathan Greenblatt? He's an American entrepreneur, business leader, civil rights advocate who serves as the CEO of the National Director of the Anti-Defamation League. He became the ADL CEO in July 2015. He worked at the White House under President Barack Obama. He's a social entrepreneur. Okay? He's monitoring and exposing hate and extremism. Is he the expert on determining who is spreading hate and extremism? Because this is concerning to me for so many different reasons, and I'm going to explain why. But one of the reasons is I think I was labeled an extremist at one point. Yeah, like when I got kicked off Facebook, when I got kicked off of YouTube, because I was an anti-vaxxer. Nobody took into consideration that my child had been severely injured by a flu shot, and I had read the data. Nobody listened to me. I was just labeled anti-vaxxer, and therefore I was spreading hate speech, and I was censored. And there is no health group like the ADL that sticks up for your rights when you're advocating for health. Maybe there should be, because there's a lot of naturopathic doctors that are dead. A lot of people who have spoken out about real solutions for health that just are gone now. But there isn't. There isn't a group to protect the rights of people who, understand health from a different perspective, have a different opinion on health, worship a different path for health outside the medical mafia. There's no advocacy group for that. And so a lot of people that were advocating for, hey, don't use a mask, rinse your nose and mouth out with, wash it out with saline solution. If you really want to keep the virus from, quote, replicating, this is a better way to do it. Hate speech. You're going to get grandma killed. So this makes me a little uneasy that there's a whole organization that is monitoring hate and extremism and labeling people into groups for that reason. But here's another reason that I'm very suspicious about. I'm not sure if the ADL is a friend to the Jewish people. I'm really not. I know that sounds counterintuitive. That sounds crazy, right? But here's the thing. The easiest way to get a group of people disliked is this kind of behavior. Because nobody likes it. I mean, let's just go back to kindergarten, shall we? In kindergarten, the teacher's pet. Right? Teacher's pet gets to be the bathroom monitor, gets to go out, gets to go, do all the good stuff. Everybody starts to not like the teacher's pet, right? This is why so many people are over the whole LGBTQ plus trans, blah, blah, blah. Because it wasn't about equal rights. It was about more. And it was always about more. It wasn't about we want to be held equal. We want equal. We're fine with that. Nobody had a problem with that. Fine. Equal rights. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. It's when you start infringing on other people's lives and then you're getting special treatment. That's a problem. That's the quickest way to get everybody not to like you. And I'm curious if that's the goal here. Sowing more seeds of division, are we? More chaos? Stay tuned, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday. This is Naturally Inspired Radio.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Support the show. We have big January sale. Still got buy one, get one free deals. So take advantage of the January specials at naturallyinspiredstore.com. Any questions at all, just text me 720-303-8868. If you have questions about the deals, if you have questions about any of the products, I'm available. And of course, all your purchases support the Naturally Inspired show. So go to naturallyinspiredstore.com today and get into the Naturally Inspired community. That's my opinion on this. It's like I really question the motivation here because, like I said, special privilege for special groups ends badly. And especially for the Jewish community in America, I would say, like, why are you sowing these seeds of division here? Why? To me, it feels like more chaos, more division, outsiders that maybe want chaos and division in America. That's what I'm concerned about. And I would say to the American people, don't take the bait. Don't take the bait. Because they're going to start ruffling a lot of feathers. I got a couple of clips here for you today. This is, if you can believe it, Miami Beach. This is Miami Beach, everybody. Watch this.
Is that your account?
I refuse to answer questions without my lawyer present. So I really don't know how to answer that question either way.
Like I said, you're not going to jail.
This is freedom of speech. This is America, right?
And
veteran.
And I agree with you 100%.
Okay.
We're just trying to see if it's you, because if we're not talking to the right person, we want to go see who the right person is.
Okay, how can I help you?
So pretty much it's just a statement that was made as far as
verbatim, it says the guy who consistently calls for the death of all Palestinians tried to shut down a theater for showing a movie that hurt his feelings and refuses to stand up for the LGBTQ community in any way. Even leaves the room when they vote and on related matters. Wants you to know that you are all welcome. Clown face, clown face, clown face. 3 days ago.
You don't know if it was you?
I'm not going to answer whether that's me or not.
Okay.
The concerning part, and not concerning for the person who's posting it, what we're just trying to prevent is somebody else getting agitated or agreeing with the statement. We're not saying it's true or not.
Understood.
that guy who consistently calls for the death of all Palestinians, that can probably incite somebody to do something radical. That's all we're here to talk about, and we wanted to get your side. If it was you that posted that, I would think to refrain from posting things like that, because that could get something incited.
I appreciate your concern. I appreciate you coming out here.
Okay?
That's it?
That is it. Okay. I'm going to maintain my amendment rights to not answer the question about whether that's right. I hope that's understandable.
All right, we appreciate it.
Thank you as well.
Day, okay?
You as well. Thank you. Take care.
United States of America, everybody. Post something online and receive a visit from a couple of officers. Listen, this lady and I don't align in our values or our belief systems. I can assure you that. She is LGBTQ plus, and she is pro-Palestine and all that stuff. And that's not me. But I tell you, I 100% support her right to post whatever she wants. This is insanity. Thinking that you can police the world and stop somebody from... This officer says it. He says the concerning thing is not the person who posted it, but that someone might read it and incite violence. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The rationale here is, it's absurd. Absurd. Talk about whack-a-mole, right? This person says that, oh, over here, over here, over here, over here. You're going to be chasing the entire planet here. This is insanity. Listen, we are personally responsible for our own actions. Yep. Your words cannot make somebody do anything. Your words cannot even make somebody feel something. I know that's controversial, but it's true. You see, if somebody calls me names, I've been doing this long enough now, I don't even bat an eye. I could care less. Move on. Right? And we cannot be walking around trying to guard everybody's little precious heart, because that's not the way the world works. That is not the way the world works. So do I agree with this lady? Absolutely not. But let me tell you, especially these types of people that tend to be very whimsical and emotional and LGBTQ and fairness and, listen, we do not want to silence these people. Do you remember the city Chaz in Washington? State of Washington. Do you remember that? Like the autonomous zone? Like these people are not, you don't want them lurking off in the shadows with no place to vent. I don't understand why people want to silence their adversaries. I don't want to silence my adversaries. Come on out. Keep talking, because, eventually you're going to talk enough that you're going to sound so insane and so unhinged and so irrational and so incredibly wrong that more people are going to come to the truth. So, I just don't understand this thinking that if you silence your adversaries, somehow that is going to make you safer. Wrong approach. Wrong approach. Wrong could not be more wrong. And you're never going to silence everybody. It's not just Florida. It's in the great state of Texas as well. Watch this.
We're here because of the comments you made online about the Jewish community. So what? No, I'm saying, are you I have a freedom of speech, dude. Yeah, no, we get that. I get that. We got to make sure that you're not. Do you have a warrant? No, that's why we're here. You see that sign? Yeah. So that says you go soliciting. What you're doing is basically soliciting. You understand that, right? Yeah. It means you're not welcomed here. Okay. Bye. Okay. Stay off the lawn, please.
Like if I was Jewish, I would be so mad right now. What are you doing? What are you doing? Right? It's like, I just like, the worst thing you could do is like give people special rights. Like, okay, so my kids are half Mexican, right? Like, did they ever apply for like special grants or special places in society because of this? No. Because my kids don't need special rights. They don't need it. They're perfectly capable of navigating the world just like everybody else, right? Yeah. It's laughable to me that, that would even be offered to my kids because they're half Mexican, mostly, Native American, and all of that. But they certainly don't need special rights because of that. And I understand some people do, and they should take advantage of it, but my kids don't need it. And that's a great way to get people pissed off at you. I remember long ago, I had a friend many, many years ago, and I had applied to get my kids into a charter school that had a very, very long wait list. Okay. Very long wait list. And of course, both my kids have Spanish names and their last name is Garcia. And somehow my kids got into that school right away. And I don't know why, but I had a friend who had her kids on the wait list there, and her kids had not gotten in. And let me tell you, she wasn't very happy about that. And I don't know. To this day, I don't know. Did they get pulled because their last name was Garcia to get into that school? I have no idea. And I don't, I have no way of knowing. But I'll tell you the awkwardness between that conversation, it was weird. And so, like, think about wanting special rights. Okay? It's not a blessing. Because a lot of people don't like it. And so I'm wondering why this big initiative here to clearly isolate a group like this. I think it's very dangerous, and I question the motive. And other people are too. Including like the PBD podcast. They had a good talk about it today. What's going on here? What is going on here? Here is a little segment from the PBD podcast this morning talking about our culture problem, because that's inevitably what it is. Take a listen.
Because you don't agree with us, you're a threat.
So it almost makes me lose faith.
And we'll call it all hate speech.
We'll call it hate speech.
We'll go into churches.
It makes me, Elon, lose faith that there is a left and a right. And they just have us running around like idiots because they're all, when they say, I'm going to reach out to my friend on the opposite side of the aisle, you guys are all on the same team. Mm-hmm. That's what now I'm finally realizing. Yes, Trump came in and he's a badass and he's doing his thing and the country is secure. But when it comes to holding themselves accountable, bro, it's House of Cards 101. That's all they do is they all scratch each other's back and none of them go to prison.
Special rights for special people? I mean, I think we all can conclude that at this point, right? There's special rights for special people. Who determines who's special? Are you in the club? Are you in the network? Are you in the cult? I think it's so clearly on display here. It's not about religion. It's about this specialized cult. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations? much of it being imported or processed with additives. Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Did you know that I offer concierge service? You know you need vitamins. You know you need minerals. You know you need supplementation. You can feel it in your body, but you don't know where to start. No problem. I offer concierge service for all of our members. Go to naturallyinspiredstore.com today. You can book an assessment with me. And I'm happy to meet with you. Go through the rundown. Look at what you already have so you can make some decisions and make sure that you're taking things with a goal, right? With supplementation, you've got to have a goal with what you're taking. So book today at naturallyinspiredstore.com. If you have any questions at all, just text me, 720-303-8868. Happy to answer. I'm on my health text line more and more all the time, and I really enjoy interacting with you. So do you get what I'm saying here? Like it's if you're turning a whole group of people into victims where they need special protection, I can't ever recall a time, when police officers were going around door to door for social media posts. I mean, this is happening in the UK. This is happening in Canada. But in the United States of America, it's a little shocking to see. And it seems like to me that these officers are actually uncomfortable doing it, if I'm being honest. Just their body language is just like, it's like they hate to be doing this. Because really, we know what it's about. We know it's about intimidation. This officer in Miami says, well, it's concerning because we're concerned that other people might incite violence in someone else. Come on. This is intimidation. And then when you listen to Jonathan Greenblatt, it's like, wow, how does this nonprofit organization have so much power over what is being said online? We know that during COVID, it was the Biden administration that paid for backdoor access to places like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, because they were funding advertising campaigns and to these platforms, in big quantities. So it was a big part of these platforms' income to take government money for one thing or another. And so, of course, they don't want to lose that ad campaign. So when the government asks, give us backdoor access so we can help you censor people, they did it. They did it. And, there was no questions asked. Trust me, all my social media went down in one day. There were no questions asked and there were no exceptions given. And nobody was advocating for free speech for people around health. Not at all. It was perfectly fine to censor during that time frame. And we were all labeled hate speech people and all that stuff. Yeah, we got all the same labels. This is what's so crazy about this. Because who gets to define these terms? That's why I say there is no such thing as hate speech. There is no such thing as hate speech. There is speech you don't like. There is speech that we all find pretty gross. There is repugnant speech. There's, pornographic speech. But there is no broad label of hate speech. That's where we really got off the rails. Because you see, you can throw anything under that umbrella. You can say not to wear a mask. Saying not to wear a mask is hate speech. Throw that one in there. You can silence your political opponents because hate speech. And it seems to be escalating. Now we're getting door-to-door visits from police officers. And, that post, like from that lady, really, there was no violence involved. And again, what's inciting violence? Again, another subjective type of definition. You see, we can't operate off of this. It's all subjective. It's all opinion. It's all feeling. It's all, we can't operate a country like this because it's all wishy-washy. We need very concrete rules so that we can all play the same game here. And if we don't get to play the same game, well, then we've got real problems, right? That's when we've got real division. That's when things really explode because why are they getting special rights? How come we're not getting? This is all like, I feel like I'm like moderating children here, explaining the obvious. But it is obvious. But for some reason, there's like just such a lack of common sense here. Or this is the way it's intended to be. The division, right? If it's not, we're divided over the, incoming Muslims, right? The immigration issue, or the fraud that's going on in Minnesota, or the anti-Semitic rhetoric that's supposedly escalating. I have not seen any of it myself, but apparently it's there. I don't know, but to me, it's just the more division in the country. Because things are so tense internationally, right? We have all these problems going on where it seems like every other week we're on the verge of, could we be at war tomorrow? That it would be in our adversaries' best interest to continue to divide us and have us be at each other's throats. And I think stop looking for reasons to be offended. Please stop looking for reasons to be offended and start looking for things to be united. Right? There's the old saying, right? A country divided is going to fall. And man, we have been through so much in this country, especially just in the last, 10 years, politically, with extreme division, the media playing a huge part in amplifying things, right? And just so much inflammatory talk and division. And you just got to wonder, like, how much of this is even true? How much is even true? Because I'll tell you, I said this yesterday, like, you look on your Instagram, man, everybody is gorgeous and their houses are perfect and their kitchens are clean. And somehow when I go out into the real world, it doesn't reflect the same. What I see online does not reflect in reality. Truth is, in reality, people's kitchens get messy, And not everybody is a Victoria's Secret model. I know it's shocking, but not everybody is. I know it looks like it online. And guess what? Not everybody's rich, too. I know it looks like it on Instagram. You're the only one. You and me, I think. Just you and me are the only ones that aren't jet-setting the planet and traveling every other weekend. I think it's just you and me. So yeah, I'm concerned. Please don't take the bait. Please do not take the bait on this. It just feels like to me, again, another kind of constructed narrative to get people worked up, to get things, even more divisive than they've ever been. I think do I have one more clip of PBD there, Jason? You let me know in the chat. I think I might have one more there. No. Okay. It was just the two that I brought. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, some things to think about when it comes to where they want us to be looking. Those videos on door knocking, policemen coming to your door to chastise you about what you're saying online. How many doors have they knocked? Is it one, a couple so that they could put it out online and then spread the fear? So I've said this for years now, that there'll never be camps, right? They're not going to throw people in camps anymore because they don't need to. There are digital camps now, and there is self-censoring because many people are operating online. So they don't need to come to your house and throw you in prison. They can just silence you and shut down your social media and your access even to the internet and what you're able to do on the internet. We've seen people's pay platforms get suspended, websites gotten taken down. One of a doctor in my community, a naturopathic doctor in my community, had an entire library of videos on naturopathic health. And during COVID, his website was attacked and destroyed. His whole library, his whole school was taken down. He was teaching, of course, vitamin D, vitamin C, how to curate health in your body. And his had his school up for years and years and years. And during COVID, it just mysteriously was attacked and taken down. So they can take out your life digitally. They don't need to come and knock on your door and haul you away. They just need to video knocking on your door and have it and put it online so that it puts the fear into everybody else. That's all they need to do now. That's the way it's done. And we're seeing more and more of that. We're seeing, the internet weaponized. The question too, back with the ADL and Jonathan Greenblatt, do we have any privacy at all? Is there any privacy at all? I don't think that conversation is open enough. What is anybody doing to protect our data and our information online as we scream into the digital revolution? We still have not had a real conversation about privacy and possibly a digital Bill of Rights to protect the people. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Welcome back. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. Grab yourself a session with me. You can schedule a free 30-minute assessment. I'll be honest, sometimes it goes longer than that. Most of the time it does. But you can schedule yours at naturallyinspiredstore.com. Have a sit down with me and we'll just chat. It's a bit of a detective session. You know, I like to hear your background, what's been going on. And together we'll come to some solutions, some real solutions for health. So book today at naturallyinspiredstore.com. If you want to text me, 720-303-8868. Okay, let's get to today's Naturally Inspired moment. 5 strategies for aligning beliefs and values for better decision making. Have you noticed? I have noticed this for quite some time now, especially in younger people. It seems to me that people are having a really hard time making decisions. Very indecisive, right? And especially young people, I feel like, because there's this term, you know, fear of missing out, FOMO, fear of missing out. So this culture of fear of missing out has paralyzed people. And I think there's another variable in here too, which is liability. We see people who are concerned with liability. They are concerned with fear of missing out. And together this storm, you know, these two things collide and it leaves people paralyzed and not able to make decisions. So what happens when you're stuck in paralysis and you just don't make decisions? Well, things just happen, right? You're indecisive. And so not making a decision is making a decision. You're giving your agency over to something else, someone else to make the decisions for you. And you cannot create and design a life for yourself when you're not making your own decisions. That's the key. Many of us think that life just happens to us, right? This stuff just happens and I just take it as it comes. Well, if you have that type of story that you're running in your mind, then that's what will happen. Life will just happen to you. If you make a paradigm shift and you start thinking about creating your own life or designing your own life, even more exciting, life by design, you're now in the driver's seat, right? And yes, you may have liability for your decisions. That's part of life. That's part of life, being personally responsible. But the payoff is so much more, right? Because you can decide where you want to take your life. So indecision isn't usually about lack of information. It's about misalignment. Okay, so when beliefs and values aren't clear, every choice feels heavy, confusing, and stressful. Oh my gosh, yes. And I think you should audit your beliefs and values really every year. It's a great time to do that. Once you have a set list and you know what your beliefs and values are, then decision-making becomes a whole lot easier. I remember kind of working through this process with a mentor of ours that Jason and I had many years ago. And no one had ever said to me, listen, like, what are your beliefs and values? It's like, I don't know. Right? I think I was like 30 years old or 29 years old, something like that back then when we were going through that process. But you've got to become very clear on them because guess what? The really important beliefs and values, they're going to come out anyway. So you might as well recognize them, have awareness around them, and then make decisions based on them. So like one of my core values was being able to raise my kids, right? Being able to, and it was one of Jason's too, thank God. We had committed to being able to, for me to be able to stay home and raise our kids. Well, we didn't anticipate the mortgage crisis era. Remember that? 2007, 2008? Yeah, we got caught in that. And it was an extremely painful, hard time for us. But our core value was for me to be able to stay home and raise those kids. But we kept throwing back and forth this idea as if, should I go to work? Should I go to work? You know, should I stop staying home and get out there and go to work? Well, this mentor of ours helped us work through the process of aligning our beliefs and values. And that one was so high on the list that we weren't willing to sacrifice it. And so we were able to construct other decisions to get through that time period that was so difficult without giving up that core value. And I'll tell you now, 20 years later, I'm so grateful I didn't give up that value. I am so grateful, right? Because now my kids are grown. Yeah, that was a tough time, but I'll tell you, I do not regret every day I spent with my kids, especially now that they're older. So do you see how important it is to know your values and belief systems and to not sacrifice them if they're super important to you? Very, very important. And then it becomes a no-brainer. It's like, okay, no, I've defined my core values. I'm not going out and getting a full-time job and leaving my kids in daycare. I am going to work at night. You know, I'm going to support Jason as much as possible because he is working outside of the house, right? So it became very easy after that. There was no more back and forth questioning, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? Should I do that? Nope. These are our core values. We're sticking to them. So name your non-negotiables. That was my non-negotiable. If everything is optional, then nothing is clear. Write down 3 to 5 non-negotiable values that guide your life. Health, faith, family, integrity, freedom, service, whatever it is in your life. And when a decision comes up, ask, does this support or violate my non-negotiable? Aligned decisions feel calm even when they're hard. Oh my gosh, that's so true. That's so true, right? I mean, I talk to hundreds of people and you know, inevitably the topic of COVID always comes up, almost always. And so many people told me, no, I just knew that I shouldn't take the vaccine during COVID, right? Like I just knew. There was no back and forth on it. I just knew it wasn't for me. Everybody tells me that. People who didn't take it. It's because it was a non-negotiable. Their right to choose what goes into their body was a value that was non-negotiable for them. That's why it was an easy decision and it was calm and it was hard, but they knew like they knew. Separate your beliefs you choose from beliefs you inherited. This is a very important one. Beliefs because your mom had them, your dad had them. You don't even know why you hold them. It's like they're not yours. They were built into your neural pathways as a child. And so you still carry them today, even though maybe they're not that important to you. So many people are stuck because they're living with borrowed beliefs. Ask yourself, who taught me this belief? Does this belief still serve the life I want? And would I teach this belief to my child? Decisiveness returns when beliefs are consciously chosen, not unconsciously just carried. Number 3, use the future you as a filter. Indecision thrives when we only consider the moment. So picture yourself 5 years from now living in alignment. Ask, what decision would that version of me thank me for? Values are long-term. Feelings are short-term. Let values lead. Oh, yeah. Like I said, imagine if I said, I'm going to go against my value. I'm going to go work full-time. I'm going to get a babysitter. I'm going to pay for daycare or whatever. I'd probably have totally different kids today. So think about the future you, right? Not just the moment. Number 4, check the body before the mind. The body often knows before the brain argues. Aligned decisions usually bring a sense of grounded calm, expanded breathing. Yep, this is right. Less internal tension and less internal conflict. Misaligned choices often feel tight, they feel rushed, they feel urgent, they feel fear-based. Your nervous system is a powerful compass when you slow down enough to listen to it. Number 5, decide, then commit without rehearsing regret. Second guessing is not wisdom. It's fear in disguise. Once a decision aligns with your values, stop mentally replaying the alternatives, right? That's so easy to do. And that's where indecisiveness comes from. It's this constant rumination. Did I make the right decision? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? And then no decision is made. And then somebody else is controlling your life. Your circumstances are controlling your life. Right? That's why I'm like, when it comes to health, no, thank you. No, thank you. I would rather deal with the consequences of my own decisions than deal with the consequences of somebody else's decisions for my life. I've done that before. I've done that before in the medical field, allowing doctors to advise me to give my child a flu shot. Didn't work out so good. So now I'd much rather take personal responsibility for it. Because I know, when I make my own decisions, I've done my research, I'm informed, I know what the consequences are. I usually have a plan. If those consequences were to happen, I already have a plan. So I'd much rather deal with the consequences of my own choices. Replace what if with what now. So don't even think about what if. What if I had chosen something different? What if I did this? What if it's always just what now? Okay, that happened. What now? What do I do now? Okay, I'm going to do this. Okay, what's next? What's next? Move forward with consistency. Clarity grows after commitment, not before. So if you make a choice, you make a decision and it doesn't end up the way you wanted it to be, it's okay. It's okay. It's a practice. Making a commitment to something, making a decision, becoming decisive it's a skill. It's actually a skill, and you have to practice it over and over again before it becomes like your reflex to make decisions for yourself. And I just think we've been living in a society that's encouraging not making your own decisions, right? I mean, there's an app for that, isn't there? Is there an app for making your decision? I bet there is, Let us make your decisions for you. That's what the medical model says. That's what a lot of people would prefer. The only problem with that is you're not free. You're not free. And you're not free to design your own life with the outcomes that you want. Become decisive. Make decisions based on values and beliefs. Know your values and beliefs ahead of time. Decision making becomes easy. Stay tuned. The second hour of Naturally Inspired Radio is coming up. We'll be back.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio. Save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Naturally Inspired Radio, and we're getting into hour 2. My time with you goes by so incredibly fast. Hey, if you missed the first hour, you got to go back and listen to it. There's some crazy stuff happening right here in our country when it comes to censorship, when it comes to this two-tiered legal system that we appear to be living in. I'm not the only one that's noticing it, right? There's lots of other people noticing it. It's like we have all this fraud going on, yet, it feels like this is a system that protects, elitists. And it feels like, I don't know, man, if we're not making arrests right now with some of these people, how much more evidence do you need that Elon, what's her name? I always get it wrong. Omar, right? Elon Omar, is scamming, right? Her husband came with $51,000 and is now a multi-millionaire. I think he's worth like $31 million now. We have all this fraud going on. Is anybody gonna get arrested what's going on with Tim Walz? What about these Muslim mayors that, there seems to be a racket going on here. And I know the wheels of justice are super, super, super slow. But listen, historically, we haven't seen a lot of action. There hasn't been anybody that's, we still have a lot of very questionable characters that have never served a day in jail. Right. And on the PBD podcast, I played a couple clips from them. They're onto it. Some of them are. It's like, it feels like this is, if you're not saying anything about this, if you're not going to make arrests, why? It feels like there are two sides of the same coin, right? Well, then my brain starts to say, well, maybe because you do the same thing. Maybe that's why Doge didn't really get to its full power of shutting down the NGOs. Maybe it's because it's alive and well on both sides of the quote aisle. Oh, we don't want to call these guys out because then maybe they'll call us out. It feels like that could be an issue here. There's all this special rights for special groups. If you're a part of this, you get this. If you're a part of this, you get that. If you're a part of the gang, you get special treatment. If you're not in the gang, though, well, it might show up at your door. And it's just enough already. People are sick and tired of it. Enough already. Cat's out of the bag here. I mean, we really need to see something. It's like, well, it feels like two sides of the same coin for sure. And I'm not the only one thinking it, which I was happy to see because I thought, well, maybe I am the only one. Maybe, but I mean, when you see no action for so long, I think when you know what I'm saying? Like with, all through COVID and even before, we're like, come on, just do something, right? Why is this taking so long? Like, just do something. And I feel like we were abused for so long that even the littlest crumb they give us feels like a big victory. It's like, oh, they're going in there and they're going to investigate. But now it's getting to the point where we're like, yeah, we don't really care if you're going to investigate if it's never going anywhere. Because it feels like it's never going to go anywhere. I just think sometimes people who are criminals as well are a little bit more useful, can be used a little bit better, if they actually aren't in jail. Maybe they can be pressured to do certain things or act certain ways or, you know what I'm saying? Like they're more useful outside of jail. But that doesn't make us feel very good. Right? Because again, we're living in this kind of two-tiered system. Anyway, I got something interesting for you today for the Americana moment. This is going to be interesting because I think most people think that America was founded on Christianity. And this is something I think that people have gotten a little bit lazy about. Like, oh, something like the Constitution protects us maybe from, other religions infiltrating the country and taking over because America is a Christian country. Well, not really. Take a listen to this.
America is a Christian nation. The core principles, values, and beliefs that structured the Declaration of Independence, as well as the first 13 state constitutions and then the United States Constitution, come from biblical scripture.
Fun fact about American history, none of that's true. At least not in a way that serves the interests or the rhetorical goals of this content creator. Because you could say that the United States is a Christian nation in the sense that the majority of the U.S. population identifies as Christian, but that doesn't really mean much, and that's obviously not what this content creator means when they say the United States is a Christian nation. And there are no data that support the notion that the ideals and the ethos and the principles that gave structure to the Declaration of Independence and the state constitutions of the original 13 colonies and the U.S. Constitution come from the Bible. They don't. That's just a claim that people make when they want to try to retrofit other influences to the Bible. Because representative government or classical republicanism does not come from the Bible. The separation of powers does not come from the Bible. The right of the accused to confront their accuser does not come from the Bible. Again, these things are the product of other influences, and then people squint at them so the edges blur, and then imagine that they can make those fuzzy edges overlap with the fuzzy edges of something they find in the Bible. So they might find a passage where somebody confronts an accuser, and they'll say, see, the right of the accused to confront their accuser comes from the Bible, even though they're ignoring the fact that we can draw a more direct link to like classical literature that predates that passage in the Bible, where people are actually debating whether or not the accused has a right to confront their accuser.
So you know how I'm always saying, there's a group of people that is trying to get you to believe that America really doesn't have a culture. Right? America doesn't have a culture. It's made up of a bunch of immigrants. It's a piecemeal. You don't have your own culture. Without immigrants, you don't. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And the culture was formed where there were so many Christians that people came to believe and just respect that, America is a Christian nation. That's because there were citizens of America shaping culture here. Right? They were building the Christian message. The truth is that America was built on and founded on the freedom of religion. So the United States was created to protect belief, not to enforce one belief system. Now, it just so happened that there were so many people here that the Christian message was the most popular religion. And that's what the foundation became. People acted all in a certain way, and that in the Christian way, and that shaped American culture. But listen, if you stop claiming your culture, then the majority will take over your culture. And that's why it's so important to make sure we stop being lazy, stop being bullied by political correctness, stop, feeling ashamed of our generations, stop feeling ashamed of our skin color, stop even mentioning skin color, I can't even say it. Like, this culture, I played a clip earlier from the PBD podcast where the guy was right. Like, he said, this is a culture problem. It's not a political problem. We can't look to the political model to solve all our problems, because when we do that, corruption happens. That's why we're at where we are today, is because we had trouble making decisions. And we thought, I've made my decision at the ballot box. That's all I need to do. I just need to vote for this person, and then all the problems will go away. No. You're making decisions every day. You need to be making decisions every day, because that shapes your culture. Your decisions, my decisions, your neighbor's decisions, your whole subdivision's decisions, your whole town's decision, the cities. You see what I'm saying here? That it's all of us together that shape the culture. And when the majority is making, similar decisions, then the culture is formed, and there's always room for people on the fringes. There's always room for people on the fringes, but, the majority of us live this way, and this is what creates the flow of traffic in our country, all kind of in the same direction. We're united on these core principles. Sure, you can live on the fringes, but just know this is the way that, the bulk of people live here. This is the way we do things around here. Very important. And what's been happening is we've been stepping down, pushed aside. Don't say this about what you think. Don't act that way, because we need to cater to all these fringe people and make sure that we're being kind to them. Right? They weaponized emotion against the American people. And it was a psychological operation. And there's a lot of liberal women especially that are very caught up in this psychological operation to the point where they are actually defending pedophiles, keeping them from getting arrested, shouting in the streets, overtaking churches. I mean, they've lost their minds through this psychological operation. They're on a mission for kindness. Dang it. They're gonna force that kindness no matter what. We've got to come back to, an agreement that this is the foundation of our country, or we're gonna lose it. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredраdio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen.
There's still time to join us tonight. It's Tuesday, and that means it's time for our Naturally Inspired Weekly Wellness Workshop. Tonight's workshop is going to be about your home emotion, and how that shapes your identity and shapes your health, what your body feels first. So join us tonight on the Weekly Wellness Workshop. It's every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time for our members. So if you are a customer, if you've made a purchase with Naturally Inspired, you can join us tonight. You'll get the text message to join us on Zoom at 7 o'clock Mountain Time. You can go to naturallyinspiredstore.com right now and make a purchase. I was just on a podcast over the weekend. I think it was on Sunday, and I had a special offer for that audience. I had 50 spots for 50 new customers, and I would cover shipping for those brand new customers. So if you are a brand new customer, I still have a few slots left. Order now. Though, don't wait. Order now because there's only a handful of slots left. And if you want to get that free shipping, I'm covering shipping. It was my offer to this new audience. My introduction to them was a offer with free shipping to get into the Naturally Inspired community. And there happens to be a few slots left. So if you'd like to take advantage of free shipping, purchase right now at naturallyinspiredstore.com. Join us tonight. It's going to be a great workshop tonight. Your home emotion and how that shapes your outcomes, especially in your health. If you have any questions, just text me 720-303-8868. I just want to finish up with our American moment here because many people think that America is founded on a Christian nation. And listen, we don't need more laws. We don't need more regulation. And we don't need the government to tell us what we should be thinking, what we should be doing, how we should be practicing faith. We don't need it. What we do need for true freedom is unification in the country, right? We're united on a few basic principles. One being, I don't have to agree with you to give you the freedom to speak. That should be what unifies us. Like in this country, we have free speech. It doesn't matter what you say. I support your right to say it. That should unify us. We should be like united on that, right? Freedom of speech. Doesn't matter if I agree with you or not. We are countrymen together because we both believe in the principle of free speech. And freedom of religion as well. The reason why I brought this up is because there's been a couple. I don't want to say many. There's been 2, I think, so far, where a governor of Virginia was sworn in on the Quran, and the mayor of New York was sworn in on a Quran. And I'm telling you, if you don't claim your culture in your own country, other people will. And our Constitution is set up as such that it's freedom of religion. So the majority will shape the culture here. And so if you are going to stand down and not declare your culture in your own country, then you can't be mad when somebody else claims it. A large portion of colonists identified as Christians, but the founding fathers deliberately separated personal faith from government power. Several key founders, including Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, and George Washington, warned against mixing church authority with state authority based on Europe's long history of religious wars and persecution. The Constitution never mentions Christianity. The U.S. Constitution contains 0 references to Jesus Christ, Christianity, the Bible, or any specific religion. And this was intentional. Instead, the Constitution focuses on individual liberty, limited government, and consent of the governed. The First Amendment protects religion by limiting government. The First Amendment does 2 crucial things: prevents the government from establishing an official religion, protects the free exercise of religion for individuals, and this ensures Christians can practice freely. Jews, Muslims, atheists, and others are equally protected. No church controls the state. This is great, right? When you have a culture that isn't afraid to claim their culture. Now, if we have a culture that has been conditioned to stand down and not claim their culture, then we could be living in a totally different country in years to come. The beautiful part about it is freedom, and that is the way freedom works, right? Freedom works. It's a mechanism that is really so beautiful, because good will rise into control. If tyranny stays out of it, the good will rise and be the strength in the country. If you don't have people that are afraid to claim it, and hopefully we're getting back on track with that. I feel like we are. It's in our American culture to be brave enough to support freedom. That's the real strength of American culture. It's like, yeah, we have freedom of religion here because we're not worried. We're not worried. We're not concerned because this is who we are as a people, and we're united. And so we don't worry about these things. But when our culture is rocked like it is right now, and people continue to sow division in our culture, then we're at risk. We're at risk for losing some of the foundational principles that we've always known here. Hopefully, people will wake up. Let's get to some news, though, because there's some interesting stuff going on. I want to share with you what time is it? Yes, we have time. Let's go to the clip on chemtrails, shall we? This is a good one.
Yeah. Okay, great. So you can come on outside, or not, or just whatever. Are you free? No,
I got reflared.
Okay, so I have paperwork for you that I want to give to you. So hang tight, I'll go get it. But then, we've been trying to reach Jody and you for a long time.
Okay.
And we are tired of you dumping heavy metals all over our county.
Okay. Well, I'm not the one to talk to about that.
No, but you are. But you're the one that's doing it. So I've been taking rain samples. I have over 20 samples. And every time you fly, we get high amounts of aluminum, barium, strontium, titanium, magnesium. So I want to know, are you aware of what you're doing? I know you think it's like to increase water supply for Turlock and Modesto, but it's not really happening.
Yeah, you can talk to them.
I've tried. I've called them, and they're not calling me back. So we're now getting really involved, and now we're going to bring something legal against your company.
Okay, well, you can talk to them about that for
I know,
sure.
but I want you to know, though, like, we are real people underneath what you're doing. You spray right over our houses. We hear you. We know you. We see you. We're watching your planes and your patterns, okay?
Yeah,
it's twice today now. You did 2 flights. 2 3-hour flights.
It's public knowledge, yeah.
It's not really, though. That's the problem. So you have not properly notified our board of supervisors about this. Hi, are you the other pilot? Yes. Hi, what's your name? Khaled. Khaled?
Yes.
Okay, hi.
It's not we have people at home base that you can talk to about that stuff.
But they've not called back. So now we're getting to the point where we're getting our supervisors involved. So the supervisors of our county needs to be notified. They've not been notified. You've been doing this for 30 years. I know it's a long time. You guys are like, it's cool, it's easy. We're talking about all of the metals and the flares that you're using. So aluminum and zinc propel the silver iodide. You're spraying right over us all the time. And our plant life is suffering. They are now selling aluminum genetically modified seeds to grow food because our soil is so contaminated. Okay, so what you're spraying is not good for the environment. And it's not good for the people because there's an early onset dementia, there's Alzheimer's, things are starting to happen to people's health. And I really do believe there's a linkage to what we're breathing in the environment every day when you guys spray us in November through April. It's your yearly contract. I'm aware of that too. So I just wanted to meet the pilots and say, where's Jody? I've called Jody, I've talked to, I think Leslie was the other one, Leslie Fisher? No, it's another Fisher.
Yeah, probably his wife.
Okay,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's their responsibility. That's not our responsibility.
I understand, yeah. But the money that you're receiving to do this is coming from, is it taxpayers that are paying for this?
That's not my department.
I want you to be aware. Do you have family?
Yeah, I have family.
I have family too. I have children. So we're outside and we hear your plane over us all the time. And I've been tracking this for a long time. And we have tried to get the supervisors involved and they're clueless. They were not informed. According to the California codes and law, they should have notified our supervisors because you're doing this to benefit TID. Okay? But it's not. It's happening over, well, it might be, but it's happening over our area. Okay? Sonora, Groveland, Coulterville. You're doing your little figure-8 loops. My 20 rain samples will show you that on the days that you're spraying, or releasing your flares, we have copious amounts of aluminum, magnesium. There's been some barium, strontium, but titanium's weird. Is titanium also in your flares? Okay, that's unique for me. So I want you to know that there are health impacts and impacts to the soil and the plant life, all of those things. And when you do this, my whole community is watching. We don't know what to do.
I understand your opinion.
It's not an opinion. It's not an opinion. So what this is a California mom who got tired of seeing chemtrails over her skies around her home and decided to start taking it into her own hands. Because, of course, when you go and start asking questions about this, you just get gaslit, right? You get told that you're crazy. Oh, you're crazy. You're a tinfoil hat where, this is legal. It's all public knowledge, blah, blah, blah. It isn't informed consent because nobody's talking about the health consequences from this spraying. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's giving you informed consent on that. So this woman took it into her own hands and she went and pleaded with the pilots themselves. And of course, the pilots, they're blindly just, they're making money off of it. So they don't even want to look into it. Because once you know, and then you're going to feel a little less comfortable doing what you're doing. And so that's exactly what she's trying to do here is bring a little accountability, like, dare I say it, but healthcare workers, same type of situation, right? These police officers that are banging on people's doors, American citizens, You're walking up to an American citizen's home. You are a citizen yourself. You're knocking on the door. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. And this is what I'm talking about if we can get united on things. We all want healthy children. We all want our families to be healthy. You can't blindly trust what corporations are putting you up to, what are paying you for, what the government's paying you for. You are and will be personally responsible for your actions. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Welcome back. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert-Garcia. I'm so glad you're joining me today. Check out all our specials on our monthly flip book at naturallyinspiredstore.com. So many buy one, get one free deals. You can have any questions? You can just text me, 720-303-8868. Looking forward to seeing you on the Tuesday night weekly wellness workshop tonight. Check out the flip book, naturallyinspiredstore.com. I was looking up, this GMO seed that she's talking about, and indeed there is a GMO seed resistant to aluminum. Aluminum is abundant in soil, but it becomes biologically toxic to plants. So toxic aluminum damages roots, blocks nutrient uptake, and stunts growth, especially in corn, wheat, and soy. Imagine what it's doing to us. Some crops are bred or engineered to tolerate aluminum. Genetically engineered crops that tolerate aluminum stress, these plants can secrete organic acids from their roots, which bind aluminum and reduce damage. So, I see it sometimes on our troughs, our animal troughs. There's like a slickness on top of the water if the water's been out for a couple of days and I have to dump it and replenish it because there's like a slick layer on top of it. And of course, we see the streaks in the sky all the time around here in northern Colorado. So I think more and more people are getting past the tinfoil hat thing now, and it's actually being confirmed in this administration that is a concern. And actually, Bobby Kennedy talks about it here and the impact on your soils. Take a listen.
Of a promise that we made in the Maha Report, which we released 2.5 months ago, has 120 recommendations for how to transition, how to eliminate the chronic disease epidemic and transition to a healthier America. And among those promises, among the recommendations of the report, was the promise to make it easier for farmers in this country, to give them an off-ramp. Farmers who are dependent on inputs, on chemical and fertilizer inputs, to give them an off-ramp where they can transition to a model that emphasizes soil health. And with soil health comes nutrient density. And without coercion, through voluntary action, to give them good incentives to do well by doing good for themselves, for our children, and for the country. I'm very, very happy to have as a partner in this endeavor Brooke Rollins. I've been working on farm issues for 30 years, and this is the first USDA secretary who I believe is really committed giving us, we already have the healthiest food supply in the world, to making a food supply that's even healthier, that's going to sustain, again, a transition to a much healthier America for our children.
Well, it's wonderful to hear that action is being taken. My only concern is, again, I'm a big believer in less government. Less government. But here's the thing. If you know the backstory of how this fertilizer model, this chemicalized model of agriculture came to be, it's very predatory. I learned it from Will Harris, who's a farmer down in, I think he's in Buffington, right? He described how Bluffington, I think it is at Bluffington. Anyway, he described, I interviewed him. It's been a few years now, bear with me. But he described how when his dad was farming, what they did was these chemical companies sent out salespeople. And they sent him specifically to these small agricultural towns. And they went around and they invited every farmer to come to the local park. And they, hot dogs for the kids and pop and soda and, all the stuff, there. And they gave all these farmers, a bag of this fertilizer. And they said, put this on a spot in your field and just watch how, much better it goes. And then we'll be back. And so they squirmed their way into the community, never saying, that there were consequences, of course, to using chemicals to grow things, that it was, bigger, better, faster yield, all the good things, but never talking about the consequences, which of course was killing the soil. It was killing the soil. So of course, these families, they wanted more yield. They wanted, better, quicker results. And so they adopted the chemical model. And then, subsidies came into play when it came to agriculture, which completely skews the market. And now we have this model, long story short, we have this model of farming now that's highly dependent on government involvement. And the way off of this is, for the government to ease its way out and chemicals to ease its way out, corporations to, ease their way out. They just have such a heavy hand on agriculture. I mean, just around me alone, these a lot of these big farmers, industrialized farms, I mean, on their barns, they have the agriculture brand of chemicals that makes the chemical on their barn, so their barns are sponsored by these corporations. And so that's just not, that's not sustainable in a healthy way. The way current agriculture is running is not sustainable in a healthy way. I mean, there's so many problems with it. The centralized food that we get, which is highly ultra processed, like there's just a lot of problems here. And so it's good to see some light here. My concern, of course, is the farmers. Like they got rooked into this, and I just hope that there's a plan. There's a plan to incentivize farmers to get into a more regenerative model and, makes it feasible for them because we are already losing so many farmers. We've lost, so many farmers, ranchers. We're losing them. We're losing them because it's just not profitable anymore to do it. And so any more stress that comes down on the agriculture model, I'm worried. I'm worried that we're going to lose producers. We have a lot of young families too right now, I think, especially that would love to get into farming, but they're discouraged because the numbers don't work. So if we could entice families into getting into it with mentorship, right? Like Dean Lerwick from Pumpkin Creek Ranch talks about a lot here. Like you need mentorship. You don't just come into farming and know what you're doing. I only have 5.5 acres here, and I'll tell you, it's been a lot of trial and error, right? Like, you don't want to be mass producing food in trial and error. You know, you need mentorship. So with mentorship and support, I think we could get back to a thriving model of agriculture, but it's going to take time. And I'm concerned about government involvement because they're already establishing new labels like regenerative farm, and less government is better. These labels are really just an opportunity to regulate and build in more fees, more ways to charge, more regulation just means more bureaucracy and less money going to the actual farming itself and to the family, right? Every time we build in, like, everybody's solution just always seems like another law, another regulation. And I'm just, no. Let's build an off-ramp like Bobby Kennedy's talking about, but let's support them with the guardrails for a certain amount of time and then get them functioning on their own and let the free market do what the free market is supposed to do. It is, it's the regulation that has really made a mess out of agriculture in our country in the first place. Anyway, I got another story for you. Speaking of food, because this one, as soon as I saw this, I'm like, I'm definitely bringing this to the show today, because a lot of people tell me, well, I eat sourdough. I eat sourdough bread. And I'm like, if you're not making your own sourdough, I'm betting you're eating fake sourdough. Because I see fake sourdough in the grocery store all the time. Just because it says sourdough does not mean it is the nutrient-dense sourdough that you think you're eating that's supporting your health. In fact, it's not. And it's basically just sugar is what you're putting in your body. And you're thinking sourdough, but it's not really sourdough. Listen to this.
99% of all store-bought sourdough bread is fake, including this one at Kroger right now. Do you want to know how to spot real sourdough bread? Watch this video to the end. So there's a huge difference between store-bought sourdough bread and real sourdough bread. Now here's an example of real sourdough bread that I just bought at Whole Foods actually a few minutes ago. Some of the Whole Foods sourdough breads are fake though too. Here are two big giveaways. One, if it has yeast in it, it's not real sourdough bread. If it has added flours to it, it's not real sourdough bread. Sourdough bread should have 4 ingredients. Here they are. And if it has more than that, it's probably not real. Now, real sourdough bread is incredibly good for you, healing for your gut, and can actually boost GLP-1 in the body and help with weight loss. So stick to the real.
Here's a very easy way to tell if you're eating real sourdough. Weight. A real loaf of sourdough is dense and it's kind of heavy. And a fake loaf of sourdough is pretty light. It's like a regular, loaf of bread. It doesn't have much weight to it. That's the way you can really tell. True sourdough is fermented and it takes time. It takes time and effort to, grow your starter, to nurture it, to feed it. And, any way they can cut corners, any way that they can cut corners in the food business, they do. And sourdough is no different. If you're not making your own sourdough or buying it from an artisan, a baker, if you're buying it from the grocery store, 99% chance it's just regular bread. Stay tuned. Your health topic is up next, and you're not going to want to miss it. We'll be right back.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Welcome back. I've been telling you about my favorite cellular reset for a long time now, months and months. I absolutely love it. I drink it every day. It is my preferred hero product, especially for inflammation and so much more. You can purchase it today at naturallyinspiredstore.com. My cellular reset is a phenomenal product. And today's health topic just so happens I saw some new literature and I wanted to share it with you today. So let's bring up those two pictures that I sent you, Jason. Perfect. So this is clinical nutrition, and it is an article, pomegranate juice consumption for 3 years by patients with carotid artery stenosis reduce common carotid intima media thickness, blood pressure, and LDL oxidation. That's a headline. That's a headline, right? Anyway, the summary is what matters. Dietary supplementation with polyphenolic antioxidant to animals was shown to be associated with inhibition of LDL oxidation, foam cell formation, and attenuation of arteriosclerosis development. It goes on to explain, and it's pretty fine print here. So I'm going to tap out here because I can barely read it from this from this angle. But more importantly, let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next slide here. Yeah. These are your arteries. Isn't that awesome? Do you know what your arteries look like? I always tell people, you need to have a vision for health. You need to know what your healthy organs look like, because without a vision for your health, you're leaving a lot of chips on the table here in terms of your healing journey. Once you have a vision for health, it becomes, your driving factor. The two arteries on the right there, that's what you're shooting for. The two on the left, those are full of plaque. Those are full, right? Blocked arteries. So that's 3 years on pomegranate juice. So when I talk about polyphenols and I tell you about the cellular reset, I'm not just saying it for my own health. You know what I mean? I'm saying it because this stuff is very potent. So pomegranate is, of course, one of the ingredients in my cellular reset. And that's why I highly recommend it. Pomegranate is one of the richest sources of polyphenols. Pomegranate contains powerful polyphenols, especially ellagic acid, which are known for their antioxidant strength. And these compounds help neutralize oxidative stress, which is a major contributor to arterial damage. Oxidative stress drives plaque formation. Coronary plaque doesn't form overnight. It develops over time with oxidization that triggers inflammation inside artery walls. Polyphenols in things like pomegranate help reduce oxidative damage, supporting healthier arterial environments. It also supports the endothelial function. So the endothelial, but that's the inner lining of the blood vessels, plays a critical role in blood flow and vascular tone. So pomegranate polyphenols support nitric oxide activity. This is key. This is key because the reason why many men in particular are suffering from low blood flow is because of this lack of nitric oxide production. Okay, so helping arteries stay more flexible and responsive, a key factor in cardiovascular resilience. It also, polyphenols helps calm inflammatory signaling. So chronic low-grade inflammation fuels plaque progression. So pomegranate compounds have been shown to modulate inflammatory pathways, helping shift the body away from constant inflammation, signaling that stresses the heart. So support healthier lipid behavior as well with polyphenols. Rather than focusing only on cholesterol numbers, pomegranate helps address how lipids behave in the body as well. Helps with oxidation, supports a healthier balance between oxidative load and antioxidant defense. Polyphenols work at the cellular level. This is key, right? Because all health is cellular health. It's all metabolic health, right? How you're functioning, how you're taking in energy, how you're absorbing it, how you're able to put it to use. Polyphenols don't just float around. They interact with your cells. Okay, they interact with mitochondria and they help gene expression related to oxidative defense. This is why whole food polyphenols are considered cell protective, not just surface level antioxidants, which many products on the market, they will say antioxidants. But the reason why I love the cellular reset so much is because it has great muscadine in it as well. So you may have heard things like, about resveratrol. Like, oh, the French don't seem to age, and everybody's always thinking, oh, it's because of the red wine. Well, it's because of the resveratrol. And also, think about French food. Very high in fat, right? They don't skimp on butter. They don't skimp on whole foods. This is how we've gotten into the obesity epidemic here in America, is that the diet culture was launched here. It was an advertising campaign for highly processed foods, for a whole new style of food, diet food. Non-fat food. But what that did over time was it just fed the obesity epidemic. Because now, if you're a regular listener of this show, you understand that, obesity is a brain problem. It's actually related to your hormones, and your brain regulates your hormones. So it's a ghrelin, ghrelin's your hunger hormone, leptin is your satiety hormone. In France, they don't deal with an obesity epidemic until the Western world started bringing in probably more of their fast food chains and whatnot, because they were more whole food based. They ate butter, they ate meat, they had a lot of stews, right? A lot of cream. You can't overeat on that stuff. It's very difficult to overeat when your brain triggers the satiety hormone. Because, like I always say, it's hard to overeat on a stick of butter. Your gag reflex kicks in. And so their culture, it nurtured actually lower weight and healthier bodies, coupled with the fact that many more people walk over there. So they're moving, they're moving more up. Their lifestyle is just more conducive with health than the American lifestyle. Our cities are often spread out. It's not possible. It's not possible to walk everywhere, not from where I live anyway. It's not possible to walk along I-25 and live. It's just not doable. So we have to carve out lifestyles for ourselves that are conducive with health. But returning to a whole food diet is key. But whole food polyphenols, like in the cellular reset, they're considered cell protective. So they're not just this, surface level of contains antioxidant. No, they're very potent. Food as information, not just nutrition. So pomegranate delivers a message to the body. It protects, it repairs, it defends. It reinforces the idea that heart health isn't built on pharmaceuticals alone at all. Actually, that's a Band-Aid. And sometimes, we need pharmaceuticals, especially in the area of heart health, because it's so important right? Our heart health is so incredibly important. One of the reasons, like, we can't live without a healthy heart, right? We can't live well without a healthy heart. And one of the most insulting things that happened during COVID was when they downplayed myocarditis and pericarditis. Like, oh, it's no big deal. It's just myocarditis. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The heart is so incredibly important. We have to take care of it. And putting people at the risk, that risk was just, well, it was evil. There's really no other word for it. It was just outright evil. Now we have young men suffering still today with myocarditis and issues with their heart because informed consent wasn't given. We always have to be living in prevention. So this is why whole food polyphenols are necessary. You want to use food as information, and the cellular reset is information. It is food. You'll notice a lot of what I really recommend is food-based. Things like collagen, things like polyphenols. It's food-based because your body knows what to do with that. Right? So it protects, repairs, and defends. It reinforces the idea that heart health isn't built on pharmaceuticals. It's shaped daily by plant compounds, whole food diet, protein-based diet, lifestyle, stress management, of course, metabolic balance. Heart health isn't just about avoiding bad foods. You know, when we focus on deprivation, like you have to avoid all these bad things, it just sets us up with a mindset of health is hard. Health, I have to suffer to get health. It's not true. I want you to think about it like, what do I get to add in? And when we start adding things into our daily lifestyle, well, the bad stuff just gets pushed out by default, because there just isn't any room for the bad stuff anymore. You know, you can get the cellular reset in two forms. You can get it in the gel caps, or, you know, if you just like it fast and quick and easy and you don't want to mess around with a drink, or you can take it in the liquid form, which I like. I use it as a mocktail. You put a teaspoon of it in some soda water and you've got yourself a nice mocktail, if you will. I enjoy it. I actually have it, you know, every day when I'm doing the show because I look forward to it as a treat. It tastes great, but I also know that it's protecting my heart health and so much more, supporting my inflammation levels and all of that wonderful stuff. It's part of my lifestyle. So see, when I drink my mocktail every day, I don't have room for pop. I don't have room for bad habits. And I never feel deprived. I never feel deprived because I've curated a lifestyle that I love, that makes me, you know, feel good, not only feel good, but gives me energy and keeps me in the shape that I want to be in. So it's never from an area of deprivation. Never look at health in that way. Health should not be about, you know, white knuckling it through. It should be like an experience, like, oh, I get to go to this activity. I get to eat these whole foods that are available to me that nourish my body. I get to, you know, partake in polyphenols to support my body as an antioxidant and for heart health. I get to take my supplementation. You know, it shouldn't be something that you feel forced into doing. That's not really building a sustainable lifestyle. Pomegranate is one of nature's most powerful examples of food as information for health. You've been listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert-Garcia. I'm so glad you joined me today. I will see you tomorrow, right here. Same time, same place.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, Dive into long-form podcast conversations and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. NaturallyInspiredRadio.com.